What South African rappers do you listen to or did you look up to when you were starting to hone your craft?
Again, I don't want to sit here and lie to people, but South African hip hop was really in the shade when I was growing up. We weren't exposed to as many local artists as we are now, and I get that question a lot, and I always feel guilty because there is no standout kind of influence on me. And I mean, I'd love to get that nod of approval that like, yo, I'm gonna mention this dude, I'm gonna tell him to watch this interview, he's gonna put me on, I'm gonna be famous, blah, blah, blah. It's not even like that. We weren't exposed to that. Like, when I was growing up, the only dudes that were on TV, I remember a dude called Mr. Salwin, I remember Tear Gas, I remember Squatter Camp, and probably Pro Kid, and that's about it. Because those dudes were doing the rounds on TV, and unfortunately, that's all we had. And yeah, I didn't exactly have a job back in like 10 years ago, so I couldn't even buy their albums or whatever. So yeah, probably those dudes, but whether or not they influenced me, that's a different story, but they were there, and yeah, Pro was one of my favorites, so those four.
Well, that was then. Now we seem to have a lot of South African hip-hop artists.
Yeah.
It's really becoming a dominant genre of music in this country.
It's a beautiful thing to see happen.
It is really great.
Yeah.
Who are you listening to?
Right now, I would probably give my nod of approval to Kulichana for the fact that Kulichana raps like Kulichana. And as a fellow rapper, this is not got to do with beat making or whatever, you can't pinpoint Kulichana sounding like anyone else. You could say even Fonzo sounds like so-and-so on this song, or X or Y sounds like this and that. If you listen to Kulichana, the fact that he's so original, he gets my respect for that. So
do you feel pressure to make original sounds and pressure to find your I guess nook and stay relevant in the hip hop industry in South Africa?
Again, it's another one of those questions that I feel I get asked a lot, and my response to it is always, often I get judged for not using, number one, a colored accent in this country to rap with, and people are like, why are you rapping like you're from overseas and blah, blah, blah. And my response to that is always, if we're gonna look at art and you're gonna consume music for what it is, an art form, are you gonna judge the actual painting, or are you gonna judge the brush that was used to make the art? And that little analogy I love using is that you can judge the tongue, but I'd rather you listen to the art as a whole and appreciate it for what it is. So, yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so, and regarding originality, that is, for me, hip-hop is based on copying. Like, I can get a lot of flack for saying that, but the whole genre was based on sampling jazz and putting breakbeat drums on that. So, yeah, that'll forever be there. And this little kind of tug and war battle I have with making not conscious music, but music I feel is kind of not as commercial, because I don't love that kind of lifestyle. And whether I should be pressured into making maybe a song like that or not is something I think I'm gonna battle with for a long time. But I'm 22 now. I feel I've grown a lot over the past couple of years, and we'll get to a point where I'm comfortable with making whatever I feel like making. So if I can get to that point where I feel like, yo, I'm gonna make this song, and for me it's dope, and I hope you guys feel the same. If I can get to that level, I feel I'll be cool.
Have you seen Straight Outta Compton?
I have indeed.
And what did you think of it?
It was a nice movie, but yeah, there was a lot of parts of it that were kind of left out. With me, I think every rapper goes through their phase of researching the quote-unquote legends. There's a lot of parts left out in that little story about Eazy-E and the whole little battle that Ice Cube had with being the #1 person behind the pen. And it was a nice movie, though.
It was a nice movie, but I agree.
For the consumer,
there
great
were
movie.
a lot of
a lot of things left out.
A lot of things left out.